Welcome to your daily focus for September the 9th, 2022. Boy, do we ever have a powerhouse of energy coming today, tomorrow, the next day. My goodness. Hold on to your hats, people. Let's start at the beginning. I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. And thank you. Thank you truly for all the positive, loving, supportive energy you send my way each and every day. Now we have the 9 energy today. The 9 energy is all about clearing the way for new things, clearing the path, getting rid of the clutter, getting rid of the old, the unused, the stuff with no value, a habit, a behavior. Now I know we're in new moon energy as I say this, but perhaps we've been trying to move forward in some way and there has been something blocking us. And so this is an energy that we can clear the path, that we can move forward in the way we want. If we do the numerology of the day, it's 24 energy. That's really about home and family, relationships, but it also can be our health and well-being. Okay, because 2 plus 4 is a 6. And that is our health and well-being. That's our daily routines, our mundane part of our world, jobs, things like that. So we are looking at those things today, and we are understanding what is needed in our life, what is not needed in our life, but more importantly, where do we need to invite change into our lives so that we can do something different and move ourselves forward. Remember, if we just keep doing the same thing we always do, day in and day out, we're going to get the same result. We're not going to get a new result. Sun is in Virgo. I believe by the time everybody is wide awake, I think it's like at the stroke of midnight in my time zone. So it's almost like Cinderella happens, but the moon enters Pisces. So if you wake up to some wild dreams, it's because the moon entered Pisces while you were sleeping. Please, I hope you have had a piece of paper and a pen, or you watched this the previous night before you went to bed, so that you know that your dreams could be very prophetic right now for you. They can enlighten you in a way nothing else could. It can drive home a message or make you think of a person or a place or a thing to a certain degree that you actually get to the layer that they wanted you to get to. That aha moment, that epiphany, that revelation. Now we have Venus and Jupiter not getting along in the sky. We want, really in all essence, and Venus and Jupiter, when they're not getting along, we want beauty in our life. We want riches. We want beauty, like true beauty. We want the masterpiece. We want the diamonds. We want the Tesla in your driveway, whatever it might be. Well, living in a mansion. So we may want to have these things, but it's almost like our eyes are too big for our stomach. It's like it doesn't match what we desire today. Does not match what we can actually bring in today, or what we can have, or what is sensible to have in our lives. Virgo, the sun in Virgo means everything it has value, or it's gone with Virgo. It's very detail oriented. Also our relationships with Venus and Jupiter. And once again, there'll be problems in the relationship where our expectations are overinflated of another person, where our demands were a little bit higher than the bar really should be set in the first place. So, overblown expectations. In maybe what we're purchasing, we see something, we think it's beautiful, we put all this money for it, and we get it home and we find it's a knockoff. Or it's things like that happen today. So, don't let your eyes get bigger than your stomach when it comes to things of beauty and what you want and what you love in this world. Don't set the bar so high that nobody could possibly jump over it. And we will today. We will automatically go that way. So catch yourself before you say it out loud. Please catch yourself, because it'll turn into ugly because you've set the bar too high. And you may not see it. You may not even see it until you take a couple steps back and really think it through. So think it through. It's where you snap at people because they didn't do this or they didn't do that. But in the meantime, they did all of this and it went completely unnoticed by you. It's things like that that happened today. And then, of course, we have wonderful Mercury retrograde, stationary retrograde today. And we'll have that right through till the end of September. So, and you know, people always say what not to do in a Mercury retrograde. But you know what you can do? You can journal. You can meditate. You can rethink things that conversations you've had, plans you've made, investments you've made. You can rethink it, rework it in your mind. Maybe you have a strategy for a way to go forward. Rethink it, rework it. There's always information that will come out. Now, people say don't sign anything under a Mercury retrograde. And basically what it is, Mercury doesn't actually go retrograde, but our view of Mercury, it looks like it goes that way. Okay, so Mercury is always around the sun. That's why we rarely see Mercury in the sky, because it's always right around the sun. So maybe early morning at certain times we can see Mercury, but usually, so it goes, it catches up and it flies past the sun and goes ha ha ha, and then it gets pulled back again, you know, and then it goes over. So anyways, it'll start out in Libra, but it will move back. By the time the end of September, we will be in the Virgo energy again, right? So the things that we thought we had a conversation about, we dealt with it. We thought we left it in the past shows up on our doorstep again. Old friends from the past, we can connect with them again. Deja vus, things like that. But also there'll be delays. There'll be delays in travel. Appliances won't work. Electrical is right off the... I've already had a conversation with somebody who says, what's happening in my life? And I said, I'm just about to do my reading. And we start feeling this, of course, a couple of weeks prior. And we'll feel it a couple of weeks after, most definitely. This is a beautiful time to journal. This is a beautiful time to meditate. Also, I didn't even mention with the Venus-Jupiter, you know, really look at your relationships. If you've been doing so much for somebody, they're really going to step up to the plate and start taking advantage of you around this time. And if you have been taking somebody for granted, you might not find them in your life going forward. So it's more of a consequence kind of thing today with Venus and Jupiter. So I wanted to, I don't know why I forgot it, but it popped back into my head, so I got it out. So, you know, right now, I guess the biggest challenge, if you boil it down, is that we're trying to find balance. We're trying to find balance between what we want to do and what we think we should do. So take a breath. Yeah, today isn't the day to make a decision to sign on the dotted line. More information is going to come up. And they always say not to do that. But, you know, if you've planned for it prior to the Mercury retrograde and you've checked everything off and all your ducks are in a row, then, and it has to be signed, then sign it. But if you can delay it a couple of weeks or a month, something might come up. You might just go, oh, I'm so glad I waited. More information comes in. Maybe you get a better deal. Maybe you can walk away from what looked like a great deal. If you purchase something, especially spontaneously during these next couple of weeks, make sure they have a good return policy, because you'll want to return it after the Mercury retrograde, because you won't understand at all why you spent the money on that. Okay, look at our shadow card here. Oh my gosh, it's the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords. I didn't even talk about the moon, huh? The moon is opposite Venus and square Mars. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of discontent here today. And the Page of Swords is one of these radical pages. The Page of Swords sometimes just does something to change the energy. had enough of it. We're moving forward. We're moving in a different direction. I don't care. And you go and you do something that is so outlandish. You sit there in total amazement later on. Whatever possessed me to do that, I don't know. We just don't think it through. We just don't think it through and see all, like I never even thought that might happen. Now what do I do? Kind of energy. So the spontaneity is here, okay? Spontaneity is here. But we got to think it through. Okay, just don't go with it. Don't go with the flow today. When it just says jump, you say, wait a minute, where am I jumping to? Will I be able to make the jump? Let's measure it out. Let's step it out. Let's see, you do it first. Now, it's also a highly spiritual card. So you can talk to God, your angels, your spirit guides today, the cosmos, the universe. You will have information downloaded if you request it today. Absolutely. If you want something to happen, if you want to work something out and talk it aloud, they'll help you out with that today. So definitely it's all about review, reworking things and stepping into that kind of mode. And today with this card, as our shadow card, tells us the veil is very thin and we can connect quite easily. Or easier, I should say. Our first card is the Seven of Pentacles. Where is your focus? Where's your focus? Okay, you can't just plop a seed in the ground and come back 6 months later and expect this great big harvest. You come with this great big bushel basket. Oh yeah, this is going to be great. You haven't been there in 6 months. The birds probably ate the seeds the day after you planted it and you were never back to see that the seeds were displaced or something. Or the weeds took over and took away a lot of the nourishment from the soil. Where is your focus? Where is your attention? Because each and every day you have to consistently pay attention to that seed. Each and every day. It has to be consistent. Why? Because if you are looking this way one day and your focus is on that seed, trust me, God, your angels, your spirit guides, everybody, the cosmos is all looking in that direction with you. And they're busying themselves trying to get something going. And then something distracts you and you look over here. They turn with you because that's now your focus. You took it off the seed. Then you go back to the seed. It's like, hey, what happened? Well, you went that way. So did we. That's our job, to follow you, to follow your focus, to help you walk in the right direction, make the right steps. But we have free will, so we can turn any which way we want at any given time. So where's your focus? Where's your attention? This card is asking us to realign our focus to what really matters. So we go back to that 9 energy again. What do we want to bring into our path? And there's just no room or space for it. Maybe no time for it, no energy for it, not enough resources for it, whatever it may be. Are you looking at that and trying to create that in your life? Because this is a beautiful day to do just that. We have the Seven of Swords. Ooh, watch people today. It's not a nice day for people and socializing, things like that. I don't think it's going to be the greatest of days. People may smile at you and then turn around and just badmouth you and probably use your own words against you. Like, you can't, let me tell you what they told me. Oh my gosh, hang on, sit down. You need to be sitting for this one. Or it could be that you tell somebody at the office your great idea for time management in the workforce and how you're going to present this to the boss and hopefully get that promotion that's up just by this idea alone. And then you finally build up the courage and you stand up to go out there, and guess what happens? Yeah, your buddy at the water cooler is now in getting that promotion, telling the boss their wonderful plans. So I think I dropped the first card. I did. My focus wasn't on it and it flew away. I'll get it in a minute maybe. Let's get the card. Oh my goodness. I told you it's going to be a harder day, people. The Three of Swords. At least it didn't come out first for us, but the Three of Swords is here. Our hearts are heavy. It's emotional. It's sad. It's something that's going to try and pull your energy down. Absolutely. Be very conscious of that. Now, is there healing that needs to happen in your life? Do you need to forgive yourself for something? We are our worst enemies. We don't need enemies in this world because we already badmouth ourselves enough when we're down. Why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? Why'd you stay in that relationship? Why'd you stay in that job? You laid all day on the couch and now you're upset with yourself because nothing got done. How did you expect anything to get done? And you start talking to yourself, right? Oh, you're so clumsy all the time. I can't believe you're running late again. Seriously? Every day? We have to be late every day? You would never say it to another person, and yet you say it to yourself consistently all the time. Pay attention to what you're talking to yourself about. And trust me, your subconscious is always going. It never turns off. So what are you telling yourself you're not even hearing? Because you've heard it so many times in your mind, it just replays and replays. So maybe healing for yourself, maybe healing in a relationship. Maybe understanding in that relationship that you had the bar set too high all along. And it's time to renegotiate. It's time to say, hey, maybe I've been putting this pressure on you. Or, hey, maybe I haven't been giving you the time, or I haven't been showing up, or I haven't been present for you. And allow the healing to begin between the two of you. And maybe they didn't even notice because they were so busy, and maybe it was all them in the first place. But if you're holding a heavy heart over it, then forgive yourself and go out and say it. If there's something that you need to get off your chest, this is the time to think about how you're going to use those words. Mercury retrograde is very hard, so just don't go blurting something out. There is a lot of miscommunication when it comes to Mercury retrograde. I mean, triple read those emails and those texts, and you're going to need to, because and you might even read them as if those words are really there, but really you forgot 5 sentences in there to really clarify yourself. And miscommunication's huge. So now I want you to really look at this card because the sky is opening up. Okay, and it is in the 3rd position. So we could be going through a lot of emotional struggles today. Okay, between loved ones, family, friends. But there's healing, and that light is coming in. And so if you feel you need healing, then sit back and allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to feel that anger, feel that sorrow, feel that hurt. Don't stay with it. Absolutely not. You should never just hold that forever. But what you do want it to do is to flow through you. Now, we've never ever put ourselves in jeopardy on purpose. We've never put ourselves in a bad situation on purpose. Never, ever, ever once. At the time, it looked like our best option possible. In hindsight, it was probably the worst step you ever took. But it means that you've gained wisdom. Because now when you're looking back on it, you see where the flaws were. You see where you tripped. You can see where you stumbled. And so now what you need to do is take that and say, I'm stronger for this. I can be more courageous for this. I can take a risk on myself going forward because I know this about myself now. I won't fall into that trap next time. I won't wear the blinders, or I'll know enough to take the blinders off. Because it's only in hindsight that we actually see where we did have another choice that maybe we should have taken. So stop beating yourself up about it. This is a day when we could really beat ourselves up. And we really don't want to share ourselves today. There's people that we don't want to trust. Now also, I never even said about the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords, Here we are, we're walking along. We walk by these two swords that are straight up, and yet we're bending for this one that's kind of hard to reach because we're juggling three in our hand already, and we're trying to reach down for this one on the ground, walking by two that look perfectly good to me, by the way. But for some reason, we don't need those swords. And so it's really important to understand what you truly need to take forward with you. And that might very well be the people in your life as well today, because it's such a high emphasis on relationships. Don't be making too many decisions today, because know that we'll have those bars set so high for the people we love in our life and perhaps ourselves, that we might find that we are more critical and have a lot of criticism and blaming others, pointing the finger at others. It's your fault. It's your fault. It can't be my fault, right? So be careful of all these things. Geez, I wish I had better news for you today. I like telling these wonderful, positive, but knowing the energy is a positive thing, because when you see these things, now a lot of people are going to have these blown out arguments and they're not talking, and somebody's in a motel room tonight because they got kicked out, or they're sleeping on the couch because they weren't aware that it was just the energy. But it's also for us to see where we are setting the bar too high. It's also there for us to understand where we haven't been giving of ourselves or present for another when we needed to be. It also shows us where we're doing way too much for somebody and they need to start walking their own journey so that you can walk yours. And journal and meditate. Okay. Go with the flow, let things happen. Well, I'm just gonna go right to the book, because I really don't think we should just go with the flow on a day like today. We really have to think things through. But we want to go with the flow. If this is happening in my life, then there's a reason for it. There's a lesson to be learned here. I'm going to learn something about myself, and it's going to enhance my knowledge, my wisdom, my strength, my capabilities, my truth. So maybe we should go with the flow a little bit and let things happen. We don't want to be too spontaneous with things. We do want to think it through to a certain extent. But maybe this is how we learn the best. Look at that. We've got, it looks like goldfish, but I saw it as butterfly wings as well. And oh my goodness. It's like, and look at that. Wave is just right behind us, waiting to crash down on us, and it's not even getting near us. So we don't want to stagnate ourselves here. We don't want to pull ourselves away from the people that we love. We want to build those relationships. And by seeing some of the things that might be out of balance within the relationship, could be very enlightening. Go with the flow and let things happen. Remember, it's kind of the energy today and going forward is what we want to do and what we think we should do. The magic of the universe. The magic of the universe knows that you desire and wants to deliver the best outcome for you. So let go, step aside, and accept help from others. Sometimes people become used to resistance and struggle. Everyone accepts this as a part of how life is supposed to be. But when you relax, when you go with the flow, when you let go of the situation, you will see how amazing the results can be. It will be more favorable than you anticipated. And the mantra is actually, I accept help from others. So maybe we find where pride gets in the way. It's the one thing that a lot of people have a very hard time doing, is asking for assistance, asking for help. And yet, when the person is asked for help, they usually feel, special, that they were chosen out of everybody else, that they thought I in some way could help them with their problem where somebody else couldn't. And so to feel honored. So know that sometimes when you're asking for help, you're actually raising that person up by allowing them to help you, assist you, aid you, support you, love you. Okay, we'll get an animal card. And our animal today is the heron, and it's patience. I dare you to be as patient as a heron. They're in my creek, right? They sit out back, and they stand there on the one leg, and they don't move, and they just blend right into the scenery. It's really hard to see them. Even when you just move your head a little bit, it's like, okay, where are they again? And it's like they're still in the same position, and they will stand there for eternity, waiting for supper to go by them, really. A frog or a small fish. Or so patience. Create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone and find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring you rewards. So patience. So yes, we're going to go with the flow, but we're going to have a patience about it. We're not going to push things into being. We're not going to be critical of other people's behaviors. We're going to maybe be a little too critical of our own, though. That's how I found that sorrows. Never mind. A really sad card today. Oh my gosh. I can't talk at all today. Oh well, prove I'm human once again. You guys know what I'm saying, so most days I get that word right, but sorrow. It just sounds alien to me when I say it. You ever have those words? So I get this more of an emotional transformation for us today. So go with the flow a little bit. Understand why this is happening, where it's coming from, what it means to you. And know that when people do attack and it feels personal, it's really not personal. It's more where they're coming from and the challenges that they're going through than who you are as a person. You just happen to be standing there. Okay, so the heron is here today to have a patience. And create a patience, create a space. And I know the seasons change, so that space can't always be that space if you create it out in nature. But to just breathe, to pray, to meditate, to contemplate, to journal, to sit in friendship with another. And calm yourself. Calm yourself and go with the flow and allow God, your angels, your spirit guides, the universe, the cosmos to show you, that divine energy to show you the things they're trying to teach you, to make you the true warrior so that you can go forward and create your best life ever. And until we meet again, remember, I do love you.